Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. India's telecom industry, of course, is one of the most lucrative markets, with global players eyeing to somehow get into the market, get that share of the pie. At this moment, the long-running debate over how satellite spectrum would be allocated in India appeared to reach an important milestone. India announced it would allocate spectrum for satellite services through administrative means, essentially setting a price. What does it mean is setting a price that is payable, first come, first serve basis. Now, rather than the auction route that we have seen for other telecom spectrums that we talk about in India, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, so on and so forth. The issue is significant, not just because it helps decide how to divvy up the important finite spectrum for new communication services, but because it will likely signal the entry of global giants like the company of Elon Musk and his Starlink satellite services in India's lucrative telecom market. Amazon's Project Kuiper, which is also looking for its entry in the Indian broadband market, is another new player that has advocated for shared spectrum allocation. The decision comes at a time while few Indian telecom companies have advocated the auction route that we have seen, at least for other spectrums in the country. Now, let's very quickly, in fact, just give you a sense of what the government's view on this is. Jyotiraditya Scindia, the telecommunication minister, in fact, spoke about that no auction for satellite spectrum, and this is at par what we are seeing globally. India will allot the spectrum for satellite broadband administratively. That means that the government will do that through an administrative order. Meanwhile, India is going to follow the global practices. Remember, Elon Musk has also tweeted and had said that if India auctions it, that would be a step away from how it is happening as far as the international market is concerned. Now, very, very important, in fact, whether this gets the various companies in as far as Indian telecom sector is concerned. But there is also a marked difference, at least, between the satellite spectrum that we are talking about and the various services in this spectrum. Remember, Indian telecom companies, whether it's Bharti Airtel or JIO, have been talking about level playing field for Indian telecom operators. Competitive bidding process is what they have been advocating. In fact, Airtel has also said that the satellite companies serving urban markets need to pay a license fee and need to buy spectrum for telecom services. This is what both of these competitors who are seen to be coming on a similar, in fact, page as far as the spectrum allocation for the space spectrum allocation is concerned. Now, what is the spectrum allocation? There are two divisions, or at least 2 points of views on this: auction versus the administrative assignment. Competitive bidding process, the government sells the spectrum and license to sold which are sold to the highest bidder. No bidding process, and the government directly assigns the spectrum, grants to the licenses. So this is, at this moment, the broad debate which is going on. But before that, let's very quickly hear to what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said about the Indian telecom market a short while back.
2014 में भारत में सिर्फ 2 मोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स थी, आज 200 से ज्यादा है। पहले हम ज्यादातर फोन बाहर से इंपोर्ट करते थे, आज हम पहले से 6 गुना ज्यादा मोबाइल फोन भारत में बना रहे हैं। हमारी पहचान एक मोबाइल एक्सपोर्टर देश की है, और हम इतने पर ही नहीं रुके हैं। अब हम चिप से लेकर फिनिश प्रोडक्ट तक दुनिया को एक कंप्लीट मेड इन इंडिया फोन देने में जुटे हैं। फ्रेंड्स, कनेक्टिविटी के पिलर पर काम करते हुए भारत में हमने ये सुनिश्चित किया कि हर घर कनेक्ट हो। हमने देश के कोने कोने में मोबाइल टावर्स का एक सशक्त नेटवर्क बनाया।
Prime Minister, they're talking about the possibilities of the Indian telecom market. In fact, let me very quickly go across at this moment to Mr. Anil Kumar, telecom expert, editor-in-chief of Telecom. We also are being joined by Mr. S.N. Gupta, former principal advisor to TRAI. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here on the broadcast. I just want to first start with you, Mr. Gupta, and try and understand, because the Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia also said that TRAI is eventually going to decide a fair price of, as far as even the allocation is concerned. For the benefit of our viewers, what are the primary differences, and what are the routes that usually countries take when it comes to satellite spectrum?
Yeah, thank you. And the basic difference here of opinions are auction versus administrative allocation of spectrum, actually, because normally, historically, these are the two ways of allocating a spectrum, which is a scarce resource. Actually, historically, it was administrative. Then the auction thing started. Then the Supreme Court made it mandatory for auctioning for any scarce resource. And then the Indian Telegraph Act, the revised one, 2023 came, which clarified that normally the spectrum will be allocated via auction, except some exceptions or some special cases, and for which they also mentioned in their annexure of special cases the satellite-based communication, including VSAT services, GMPCS services, which satellite operators are actually providing. So that is already clear. That means, as per the law of the land and as per the government, as a policy maker, spectrum for satellite communication will have to be decided or allocated through administrative process. And for that administrative process, there is a process to be followed where the government have to ask the regulator, who has the competency and expertise, to determine the price, at which price the spectrum has to be allocated administratively. So that is how it has to go through, and now it is in the court of the regulator to determine the administrative price to be charged.
Right. Mr. Anil Kumar, for the benefit of our viewers, what is the difference between the satellite spectrum and the normal spectrum that we are talking about? And is there a fair degree of criticism that the Indian telecom companies, which are indulging, and in fact, all of them seem to be coming together on the auction route? Where do you weigh in on that, sir?
The difference is that satellite, what we see in the normal mobile communication, this all controlled by towers. The signal comes from the towers on the ground. These towers then move on to the sky in the form of satellite. So satellites, we can say that are there as good as for towers for communication to the base stations and all that, normal users in across the globe. So this is one difference between the towers are not on the ground, towers are in the sky. The another thing is that why this existing operators, they always create problem when the new party comes in. This has been the trend. In the past also we have seen when JIO came in mobile services in 2006 itself, all Vodafone, Idea, they were separate. Bharti also, they stopped providing connectivity to them. There was a call drop and all that. They created a lot of hurdle for JIO to come in. Then when Airtel became a player of satellite, he wanted itself to be given satellite in the beginning, to be given free, because it already had a certain number of satellites. JIO was a bit far away. Still, they don't have much of satellite in the sky. Okay, so JIO was on a different track, wanted auction to be conducted. Then Airtel at that time was saying that no, it has to be allocated through administrative means. Just recently, Sunil Bharti Mittalji of Bharti Airtel, he took a different stand, taken a U-turn that because of the threat from Starlink. Because they have 6,000 or 200 satellites in the star, and in the sky, but Airtel only has around 600 numbers, so their numbers are very less compared to Starlink. They are afraid of that if Starlink comes in, they will give big competition to the existing
Okay.
players.
Okay. Mr. Gupta, does this in any way put, let's say, the Indian companies at some sort of a unfair disadvantage as far as this, allocation is concerned? Is that the reason why these companies want the auction route?
No. There is no disadvantage by using any, let us say, methodology which is permitted as per the law or as per the guidelines or set principle, as well as per the best international practices. So no disadvantage can happen. But yes, I will see what is called the fear of missing out is another thing, that you will be missing an opportunity to take advantage of this kind of complexity or this kind of hurdle being created actually. So basically you are missing out on the advantage. You are not disadvantaged in this case actually. No way.
Okay. Mr. Kumar, how does the game changes? Let's presume, because at this moment it's just only some sort of interest that Mr. Musk has shown. But how does the game change with these global companies entering the satellite spectrum market? How will it change the game for the Indian consumer?
The entry of Starlink, I don't think much of difference will be there. Entry of JIO, I think it will make some difference, because initially whoever is a big player would like to charge more as far as the tariff is concerned from the existing consumers. The moment real competition is there, for example, from JIO, then there will be advantage for the consumers who are using satellites. Who are using these satellites? Why? I don't know. It's a totally different segment. Satellite is different. They are having different kind of users, and normal mobile, they are having different kind of user base.
That's right.
Market size also is very different. So as per the market estimate, satellite service by 2030 means after 6 years,
yes,
it will be just reaching 1.9 billion, around say about 15,000 crore rupees. Today, as it is, mobile segment is having a revenue of about 4 lakh crore rupees. So this is the difference. So I think unnecessarily there is a complication being created by the existing players. If they are in a position to launch the service with the good quality, so we are very happy. If they are not, then foreigners should get a chance to come in, so that users can be having some advantage.
Mr. Gupta,
is using, DHEL is using.
Right.
So limited segments.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's also with respect to the satellite phones that people use, and there are also a lot of restrictions as far as this, in India are concerned with terms of regulations. But Mr. Gupta, globally, what are the standards and the practices which are used for satellite spectrum allocation? As Mr. Musk was pointing out, that the global practice is allocation, not auction.
Yes, actually you are right, and we are in the WTSA here for last 3 days. And everything is being, today also it was debated. Even the ITU Secretary General mentioned that the only way to distribute or allocate a satellite spectrum is allocation through administrative way, because it can be shared. Its utilization is much more than giving it on a auction on a dedicated basis to one user and who don't using it fully actually. And there is no actually example or what we call a precedent for satellite spectrum to be auctioned in any jurisdiction. Neither there are guidelines nor there are recommendations. So if we will go this route, we will be just taking a lot of risk actually, because it is
what would the government will have to do, Mr. Gupta, to ensure that at least it is seen that it's not partisan towards anybody in allocation? Because that's the worry in India. You allocate the spectrum to somebody and there will be 2,000 litigations in the court saying that the government has been partisan as far as those people are concerned.
No, there is no way. Actually, it is not the government who is determining the price, first of all. It is the regulator, which is independent, and he uses the transparent process, which is tested process, stated process. Discussions are happening involving everyone and listening to everyone. So it is that way all kind of set processes are there.
Okay.
And hence there is nothing can go wrong here. No allegation can come because it is not the government doing everything.
Right.
It is the regulator actually is determining the price and how much it should be given, and everyone, it will be given to those who need it.
Right.
Actually, that means those who have the license. And those numbers are well known. And if you 100 people want that, please take a license. So
okay, so the price will be determined by TRAI, and if you have the means and the wherewithal to, in fact, go ahead and the license and all the necessary paperwork, anybody can go. It's first come, first served basis. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us at this moment.